I went to a conference last week that discussed the regulation of AI, and I wanted to talk to you about 3 things I learned at that conference. First, the conference discussed whether existing legal frameworks can apply to AI. For example, whether products liability law can apply when something goes wrong in the AI space. This is a question that will be resolved by the courts. In some cases, courts will say, yeah, existing frameworks like products liability can apply. But in other cases, courts may decide that existing laws aren't sufficient to govern AI. And if that's the case, the courts aren't going to come up with the rules to govern AI themselves. The courts are going to deny the claim before it and move on to the next case. So what that shows is that it's up to regulators to come up with the rules to govern AI, and they have to do that now. They have to do that before the claim is being brought in court, so that the courts know what rules govern AI when the time comes. Second, the conference discussed how AI is considered so transformative that some people say it can't be regulated, or at least it shouldn't be regulated now, because if we regulate it now, that's going to stifle innovation. But then the point was made that there are other technologies that have been considered just as transformative, and we regulate them. The example that was given was cars. At one point, we thought cars was going to change the way the world worked. And they did. But that hasn't stopped us from regulating cars. I think the consensus is that we kind of waited too long to regulate cars. We should have come up with seatbelt laws earlier than we did. And had we done that, we would have saved a lot of lives. But the fact that we regulated cars hasn't quelled the demand for cars. People still want cars, but now they can get them and drive them and have everybody use them in a much safer way. And that seems likely to be the case with AI as well. If we regulate AI, people are still going to want all the benefits that come with it, but maybe we can have AI in a way that also keeps people safe. Third, some people say that AI is really hard to regulate because computers have gotten so smart that they're the ones that are really making the decisions. How do you regulate computers as decision makers? But the discussion focused on the fact that there's always a human behind the AI. There's always a human behind the box, so to speak. There's always a human behind the computer system. And given that that's the case, we need rules in place so that the humans that are developing these systems are the ones developing them responsibly. And if something goes wrong, there's a way to hold people responsible when the AI doesn't perform the way that people intended and ends up causing a tremendous amount of harm. So the upshot for me from the conference is that it's tremendously important to regulate AI now, precisely because so many people believe in its benefits. If we regulate it in the right way now, those benefits will be realized.